Welcome back to another GTN show. As you can see, I'm flying solo today. Mark and Heather are off in Tenerife, soaking up some sun and making you some quality videos. At least I hope they're also making videos, not just soaking up the sun, seeing that they left me here in the cold UK. On this week's show, we have all the action from the WTCS Abu Dhabi Grand Final, plus the Ironman Mid-East Champs in Israel, plus we discuss another Ironman World Champs issue and a royal wedding. Let's start with some of the stuff we've noticed on social media and the internet over the last week. And starting with this, Mauna Loa has erupted. Yep, that's right, you can see the glow in the sky from Kona. And Mauna Loa is erupting for the first time in 38 years. So pretty much since Ironman first went there. It is not the volcano that Mark and I went up. We went up Mauna Kea. It's the other big volcano on the big island of Hawaii, and so far it hasn't spilt out its caldera or affected anywhere downward on the downward slopes, but it's only a matter of time potentially when it could. Very interesting to watch that. Obviously, if anyone is threatened, we wish them all the best and stay safe, but it's pretty incredible to see the power of nature on that big island. Next up we have this, and Kat Matthews is back on the roads. Yep, she posted this saying, "The sun didn't physically break through the cloud today, but boy did it in my head. It was the 9th of August when Mark and I last cycled together, 3.5 months ago. So good to be back and on the brink of a very exciting life chapter. Many fun times ahead on these roads and off the roads." We wish her all the best. Obviously, as you probably remember, just before Kona, she was hit by a car and pretty nasty injuries, but she's well on her road to recovery, and we look forward to seeing her racing again early next season. And then a royal wedding. That's right, Erin Royal married Non Stanford this past weekend on the 26th of November. So congratulations to the happy couple. Looks like it was quite a party. Now on to your tri news, and we're going to start in Abu Dhabi where they had the WTCS Grand Final, but we're not going to get to the race action just yet, or not the elite race action anyway. They did have the first ever para-triathlon mixed relay this past weekend in Abu Dhabi. It's the first time they've ever had this event, and it was made up of teams, 2 from the USA, 2 from Australia, 1 from France, 1 from Italy, and 3 World Triathlon mixed teams made up of various nationalities. And each of the legs, 4 legs, involved 1 lap, 150-meter swim, then a 4.5 kilometer bike, and a 1.2 kilometer run. And if necessary, the officials radioed in the handover from one leg to the next leg. A very interesting mix of genders and classes throughout the whole thing, made for very interesting spectating. It is something that World Triathlon is hoping to get into the Paralympic Games as part of the Paralympic program. So this was the first test event, and by all accounts, it was very successful. So well done there. Pretty exciting new concept to have a para-triathlon mixed relay with all of those different abilities and the different genders all racing on one race. Also in World Triathlon news, World Triathlon has announced their 2023 calendar this past weekend. So we can see what's coming up next year, starting in Abu Dhabi, just where they ended this WTCS series. On the 3rd and 4th of March will be the Abu Dhabi race, 13th, 14th May in Yokohama, Japan, 15th, 16th July, Hamburg, Germany, 29th and 30th of July in Sunderland in Great Britain, and then the 23rd, 24th of September in Pontevedra, Spain for the grand final. So that's the WTCS series. There is also mixed relays on the 15th and 16th of July in Hamburg, 29th and 30th of July in Sunderland, and the 19th, 20th of August in Paris, France, which is going to form part of the test event for the Paris 2024 Olympics. That's going to be on the 17th to the 20th of August, obviously in Paris, France. That's essentially the dry run dress rehearsal for the Olympics in Paris in 2024, and definitely going to be a race worth watching to see who's on the start line and who performs well on that course. Also, as part of that announcement, they did allude to the 2023 Arena Games happening again. They haven't yet announced the host cities for those Arena Games, but they did say that the series will take place between the 25th of February and the 8th of April in 4 venues on 3 continents, 1 race every 2 weeks. So that Arena Games will be a good way to kick off the year early next triathlon season. Also in the news this past week, the PTO have announced a broadcasting agreement with Fox Sports. This is to show highlights of all of their 2022 races on Fox Sports on December 17th. So on December 17th, between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., they're going to show 1 hour highlights of the PTO Canadian Open, which gave away $1 million, the $1 million US Open, and the $1.5 million PTO Collins Cup, which happened in July. And you'll be able to watch all of those on Fox Sports, which is great to see triathlon on mainstream media and on TV. And hopefully there'll be more of that to come in the future for the 2023 PTO series. And now it's time to announce some competition winners. This is the Precision Fuel and Hydration competition, which we had a couple weeks ago. You could win a £100 voucher for Precision Fuel and Hydration supplies, plus a one-on-one video consultation with one of their nutritional experts. And our winners are Nathan Folds Adams, Maciej Modaka, Reese Dorso, Clemens Starr, and Mario Mogulj. Congratulations everyone, and your Precision Fuel and Hydration hamper is on its way to you soon. Last week in the show, Mark and I discussed the issues with Kona and whether maybe having the 2-day format was not going to work for 2023. And it got you guys talking in the comments section. But one of the comments that came up a few times was that there's another issue with other world champs next year. And that is the Ironman 70.3 World Championships, due to happen in Lahti in Finland on August 26th and 27th. And the issue that's coming up from lots of people already is that there is no accommodation in Lahti anywhere. Now, I did a little bit of research into this and I couldn't find any accommodation in Lahti. I searched as far and wide as I could, and basically the closest I could get accommodation on race week was just on the outskirts of Helsinki, which is over an hour's drive away and about 100 kilometers away. There's a few other places around, like Kouvola, which is 62 kilometers away, which has 1 or 2 small places, but not very much. You are looking at substantial drives. Now, we're talking August 2023 here, and the qualifying for the 70.3 World Champs is only about half completed. It goes all the way until the 9th of July with people getting these slots and accepting them and then looking for accommodation, and already there is no accommodation. We are talking 6,000 athletes for over 2 days of racing at the 70.3 World Champs, and it looks like at this point most of them are going to be staying in Helsinki and driving over an hour, traffic considered, to get to the race on race day and the race briefing the day before, etc., etc. Now, Lahti is a pretty small town. It's got 120,000 population roughly. It's 100 kilometers north of Helsinki. It's one of the first resort towns you get to, or lake towns you get to, as you drive north out of Helsinki. And by all accounts, it's really beautiful and a great place to have a World Champs. But if it can't support 6,000 athletes for race weekend, is it such a great place to have World Champs? We want to know if you have had problems booking accommodation if you've already qualified, or if you're planning to qualify, are you going to take your slot, or with the fact that you maybe can't get accommodation going to put you off? Now, at the same time this week, Nirvana announced an increase in their partnership with Ironman to support over 100 events across Europe and North America, and they provide the full package, including hotel and shuttles and everything to these events. So it's a one-stop shop. So naturally what I did was go onto the Nirvana site to see what they could offer for Lahti, Finland. And all I got was this: sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. So Nirvana's already sold out. We are 8-9 months in advance and they're completely sold out for Lahti, Finland. Booking.com, you can't get anywhere near it. So yeah, the question is, have Ironman made a mistake having it in such a small town in the middle of nowhere? Should they be going to big cities for such a big race? St. George didn't have any accommodation issues, but will you still go if you have to drive an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours on race morning before the race to go to your World Championships? Or will you just skip it and wait till it's somewhere like St. George the following year or something like that? Taupo, New Zealand is supposed to be the following year. I'm not sure what the accommodation situation is there, but let us know if you have had any problems. If this is going to be an issue that gets worse and worse as more and more people qualify, we'd love to know about it. We'll watch this space. Now it's time for your race news, and there was quite a bit of racing over the weekend, basically the WTCS Grand Final and the Ironman Middle East Championships in Israel. At the Ironman Middle East Championships, it was Ruth Astle who had a bit of a slow swim, but then overcame that with the fastest bike split, a 4-hour 34 bike split, and she backed that up with the only run in the women's field under 3 hours, running a 2:57 to take the win by over 9 minutes over second place Daniela Blamau from Germany and Barbara Riveros in third. All three of those, of course, stamping their Kona ticket for next year. In the men's race, the Uber bikers attempted to destroy the legs of everyone and mostly destroyed their own legs. Robert Cullen rode a 4:07 with Daniel Bakkegaard riding a 4:09 to come into T2 with about 8 minutes 15 lead over the main group of chasers. That included Patrick Langer, Sebastian Kienle and a few other guys. Patrick Langer, though, was in the mood to run, and boy did he run. In fact, he ran the fastest Ironman marathon ever by some margin. He ran a 2-hour 30:31 marathon to take the win, of course, because no one's going to outrun that. His time was 4 minutes faster than the previous fastest Ironman marathon, which was Matt Hansen's at 2:34:39 in 2018 in Texas. And it was enough to take the win over Daniel Bakkegaard, with Gregory Barnaby coming in third. All three of those guys obviously stamping their ticket for Kona for next year. Before you shout at me that that the run course must have been short with Ruth running a 2:57 and so many guys going under 2:40, etc., Patrick's Strava shows that it was a little bit short, 26.0 miles instead of 26.2, but that's about 300 meters short, and that's well within Ironman's tolerances for a race course. So I think it probably was pretty legit, or about as legit as comes. Regardless, 2:30:31 is a ridiculously fast run. So well done to Patrick, and definitely a well-deserved victory there. And we also had the WTCS Grand Final in Abu Dhabi, and it was all coming down to this last race. Nothing was pre-decided this time or this season. The main players in the women's race were Flora Duffy and Georgia Taylor-Brown, each having won 3 WTCS races so far this year. Either one of them could take the title. And boy, was it a head-to-head race. It came all the way down to the second half of the run. So let's go through exactly what happened in that race. Flora actually led out of the water, but unusually for her, she wasn't able to drop all the ladies on the bike. So there was a group of 9 going around the course together. Flora did put in a lot of work and did manage to shed a few of those ladies out the back with her efforts. And then we suddenly thought that maybe the race was going to be decided by another dodgy penalty, because Flora's name came up with a swim behavior violation and a 15-second penalty. It was Flora and Maya Kingma were both handed those 15-second penalty, but then on the next lap, Flora Duffy's was taken away and it was handed to Kirsten Casper instead of Flora Duffy. Not entirely sure what happened in the swim there, but Flora didn't get the penalty, and which would have completely changed the race. There was more drama later on in the bike, however, because Taylor Knibb slid out in one of the corners and she took Maya Kingma with her. So both of those two were out of the running for the win. And going into the run, it was Flora Duffy, Georgia Taylor-Brown going head-to-head. They did have Vittoria Lopez and Lena Messner from Germany for company, but those two were pretty quickly out the back door, and it was just the two of them running. It looked like Georgia Taylor-Brown was actually going to run away with the win on the first lap, as she led the whole way around the first lap. But Flora Duffy reeled her in towards the end of that first lap, ran with her for the second lap, and at the start of the third lap, Flora put in a surge, and that was it. Flora ran away with it. She actually crossed the line over a minute ahead of Georgia Taylor-Brown to take the win and to take the WTCS Series title, and it is her record 4th Series title. So Flora has pretty much won everything now in her career, including that Olympic gold, and now a record 4 WTCS Series titles. So on race day, it was Flora Duffy in first, Georgia Taylor-Brown in second, and Lena Messner in third. And then for the series, Flora Duffy taking the title and the gold, Georgia Taylor-Brown in silver, and Taylor Knibb rounding out the series podium. Afterwards, Flora said, "What an epic race, one I'll never forget." Georgia Taylor-Brown and I didn't give each other an inch. Of course, a great battle for the world title. And Georgia Taylor-Brown, similar sentiments, said, gave it my all, but it wasn't enough. Lost for words and lost in emotions. I'm not sure how I feel right now, but I need time to process it. It's been a long and testing year. I do know that I'm proud of me. I'm physically, mentally, and emotionally drained, so for now, a month of looking after me. Well done to both of those ladies. They really gave us a show this year, and we look forward to another big show next year. Well, if you thought the women's race was exciting on the Friday, on the Saturday the men's race proved to be even more exciting. Going into this race, we mentioned it last week, there were as many as 9 men who could potentially still take the title, although for some of them some pretty crazy things would have to happen on the course for them to take it. However, Alex Yee and Hayden Wilde were in the driving seats. Hayden Wilde definitely leading the points, and he really had to mess up to not take the title, so the smart money was on one of them. In fact, in order for Leo Berger, who was in third, to take the title, Alex Yee would have to finish 4th or lower, Hayden Wilde would have to finish 6th or lower, and Leo Berger would have to win the race, something he's never actually done in a WTCS race before. As it turned out, that was exactly what happened. On the bike, a group of 9 broke away, including 3 Frenchmen in Vincent Louis, Leo Berger, and Pierre Lecour, and they worked quite well together to get a gap over the chasers and keep it there up to 37 seconds going into T2. The French did almost throw it away in a move that had echoes of Vincent Louis careening through T2 in Leeds when he did miscounter the laps. Leo Berger started taking his feet out of his shoes at the end of lap 7 of 9, as if he was going to dismount. Luckily, he caught himself, put his foot back in his shoe, and no damage was done. But they definitely need to work on their counting if they're going to take an Olympic gold in Paris in 2024. Note that, French men. No damage was done, though, and onto the run. Leo Berger had a lead straight out of that group. Behind him, 37 seconds behind, was Yee and Wilde coming into that bike. And Wilde immediately didn't seem like his normal running self. He looked like he was struggling. Yee did put in a good charge and closed the gap up to Leo Berger quite a way, but didn't quite catch up to him. Leo Berger was able to hold everyone off and take his first ever WTCS win. But he hadn't yet won the title, because behind him, Alex Yee was running neck and neck for 3rd place with Helle Geens of Belgium, and Hayden Wilde was still in 5th. But after Morgan Pearson ran in 2nd, behind him Helle Geens and Alex Yee had a sprint finish for 4th, and Yee lost that. So Yee came in 4th and Helle Geens in 3rd, and behind him, Matt Hauser had just run past Hayden Wilde to push him into 6th, and that meant that your WTCS Series champion for 2022 was Leo Berger against everyone's bets. It really was a grand final in the realms of you could not script this, and it is something that the French will be looking to repeat in Paris 2024 with their hometown Olympic Games. Hopefully they can get all their ducks in a row before then and repeat it. So taking the win on the day, Leo Berger, in 2nd place Morgan Pearson, and in 3rd place Helle Geens, and then taking the series, Leo Berger from France, in 2nd place Alex Yee from Great Britain, and in 3rd place Hayden Wilde from New Zealand. And there was also on the weekend the Under-23 World Championships, and the future looks bright for Great Britain's triathletes, because on the men's side, Connor Bentley from Great Britain took the win in the Under-23 World Champs. Gergely Kiss from Hungary in 2nd, and Hamish Riley, also from Great Britain, in 3rd. And on the women's side, Kate Waugh, also from Great Britain, took the women's title in the Under-23s. Annika Koch from Germany in 2nd, and Bianca Seregni from Italy in 3rd. There was one other race this past weekend, and it might be something you didn't hear about, but is a pretty big race with a pretty small field. It happens on the big island of Hawaii, and it is the Ultraman Hawaii. It consists of a full lap of the big island of Hawaii over 3 days. The first day, a 10-kilometer swim from Kona to Keauhou Bay, and then a 90-mile ride to Volcanoes National Park. And then the second day, a 171-mile ride all the way around the east coast of the big island of Hawaii and back up to Hawaii, before on the third day, the run of 52 miles, a double marathon, all the way back to Kona. So this year, taking the win in the Ultraman Hawaii was Richard Thompson in an impressive time of 22 hours and 13 minutes. Almost an hour behind him in second was Stephen Keller, and very impressively, in third place overall and first woman was Didi Griesbauer. She finished in 23 hours and 22 minutes, over an hour ahead of the 4th place and 2nd place woman, Antonina Reznikov. So in the top 4 there, 2 ladies. Congratulations to everyone doing that crazy event. That is definitely not something that's high on my bucket list. So well done. Okay, now it's on to some of the stuff you've sent us over the past week. Slim pickings this week. Obviously, because it's off season, doesn't mean you don't have to send us anything. You can send us pictures of your pain cave or what you're up to in winter, what you're doing for your off season. We'd love to see it. Use the uploader on screen right now to upload your photos or videos or anything you want triathlon related. This week, we only have this one from Harry in Australia from Accommodation Triathlon Club, a splash and dash super sprint tri, 200 meters, 11 kilometers, 2.8 kilometers every Wednesday night during the Aussie tri season. The season launch had been delayed due to flooding in the area, and just as we finished, a sun shower resulted in a decent rainbow over the transition area in our first event of the 2022-2023 season, and that is quite a picture. I hope it bodes well for the rest of the season. Keep those pics coming, and remember to send us anything you have triathlon related, what you're up to in the off season even. We'd love to see it. And now it's time for the caption competition. Remember, leave your captions down below and you could be winning a cap next week. Last week, we had this image from Ironman Arizona of the podium getters spraying beer. A lot of puns came in here. Koala Red Bear said, "You are beer effect winners." Clement Suligoj wrote us a poem. He said, "On the podium we finish, but our results do diminish. They give no champagne. Who is it to blame?" Very good. Pogo Ho says, "Hard evidence of Ironman's champagne taste and beer budget." Senorito Querido says, "I made it all the way to the podium to celebrate with champagne, and this is what they give us. Unbearable." Clement Suligoj again says, "Oh beer, this is unbearable. Who brewed this? Ale we want is some champagne, not what appears to be a can of embarrassment." Wow, he just went for all of the puns there. Alex Gallagher says, #caption, sometimes you just gotta grin and bear it. And our winner this week is Jeremy Kim, who says, very simply, no champagne, no gain. Congratulations, Jeremy. Get in contact with us and we'll get a cap out to you for winning. This week, we have this image of Mark whispering something in my ear. Now, this was him spreading rumors about what might happen with the Ironman World Championships over a 2-day format in 2023. But we want you to put some words in Mark's mouth. Wrong answers only. And that's it for this week's show. Thank you for watching. Coming up on the channel later this week, we delve into a TT bike versus a road bike. Can you get away with just putting clip-ons on your road bike? If you're looking for some of this awesome kit, like this hoodie that I'm wearing right now, head over to the GTN shop right now. There are still some special deals on, I think, from Black Friday. And if you're looking for something to watch right now, last weekend, Mark, Heather, and myself upgraded our eBay triathlon bikes, which we got for between 40 and 50 quid, to make them as fast as possible. And spoiler alert, Heather might have spent a good few £1,000 upgrading her $50 bike.